Right now, the lead is up to 8 in Ohio. I'm sorry, 7 in Ohio. And according to exit polling, Trump won union voters in Ohio 56 to 42. 56 to 42, he won union voters in Ohio. If you're the Democratic Party and you can't win union voters in Ohio, you suck at your job. I mean, not by a little, but by a lot. You get an F- for how you do politics. But no, don't say, hey, on TV, no, Democrats are geniuses. My ass, they are. Anna.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, when you really look at, in retrospect, the way Biden campaigned, I mean, avoiding appealing to Latino voters, they didn't think it was. Who are these Democratic strategists and why do they have jobs? Like, Democratic strategists give the worst advice. So, no, we're gonna completely ignore the Latino vote. We don't think it's gonna be an important part of our campaign strategy. Okay, fine. I mean, it's not working out so well for you tonight. But look, aside from, Ida and I were talking about this during the break, so I wanna make this point now before my part of the show is over. Look, there's one issue that unites everyone in this country, or the vast majority of people in this country, and it is the bread and butter issues. Higher wages, job security, just bread and butter. People wanna be able to pay their bills comfortably, they wanna have good jobs, they wanna be able to provide for their families. Going after Trump on moral things, right? And that's all corporate Democrats do these days. Is it going to fire people up and get them to the polls, right? Now, yes, more people voted this time compared to 2016, but it's still, Biden wasn't an exciting candidate. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. But everyone was sold on this idea that Biden was the most electable. Most electable based on what? Like, where was the data, where was the polling, where was the indication that Biden was more electable than a giant list of other Democrats who ran against him during the primary? I just feel like the corporate media, along with corporate Democrats, just kept repeating that message until people believed it. And I do understand that there was a degree of nostalgia associated with Biden because of the Obama era, but I don't know, it's not looking good. And just like take a second to think about how disastrous Trump has been for people's financial situation, for their health during this pandemic. People are getting evicted from their homes. I mean, it's unbelievable. This should have been a blowout, and it isn't.
So Ida, I want to keep raging about how stupid and irrational the corporate media is, where they say, no, you should not have a fighter on your side. Only the Republicans should have fighters. But Democratic fighters are bad guys and they're uncivil and they should all shut up and bow their heads to Republicans. Corporate media screwed us. They screwed us so hard. All right, but back to something you mentioned earlier that's so important. You said something along the lines of sexism is worse than racism in terms of its effect in these elections. And as I see, look, I don't know if that union vote is indicative in Ohio or not, but I saw it in almost every demographic, white, Latino, black, etc. Trump appealed to the macho in them, and since the Democrats are so weak, it's us appealing to the macho in men seems inconceivable. And there's a way to do that, not in a bad way, but in a way where we say, hey, you know what? You gotta have pride. You gotta have pride in your job. And we're gonna bring you pride by getting you higher wages so you can provide for your family, etc. So you tell me, how big a deal was that issue here in terms of whether it's sexism, the macho appeal, etc. in this election? Do you think, Ida?
Huge. When you talk about our Latino, Latinx community, we already know that there is a big machismo problem within our communities. But you hear, like, I actually have dedicated time that I'll never get back in life to reading tweets and going and investigating what my people are saying. And you see it, oh, he's unafraid, he's unapologetic. Nobody's gonna come in this country and turn it into Cuba. He's gonna fight, he's not embarrassed to say what's on his mind. That whole thinking, that's toxic masculinity. They've tried to discredit her Listen to what they said about Kamala, that she's not even a real black person, right? They will do anything. They did it with Barack Obama. First they fall apart when they see your blackness, and then they try to dismantle it so that they can alienate you from your own people. And when we talk about Latinos, Latinx, Afro-Latinos, Black Latinos, Indigenous Latinos, and we don't address race, and we don't address the sexism that rests within our communities, that we're not honest about. I mean, this is what people, you talk about these ignorant, white people that are poor and struggling. Oh, I'm like Donald Trump. You see them jumping out of their cars saying, I'll punch you in your face. I got my gun. Everything is about this toxic behavior, and it comes from Donald Trump looking you in your face and saying the most outrageous, egregious things that a human being can say about another human being. And because they think it, they identify with it, they celebrate it. And a lot of that stuff, I mean, he said grab him by the you know what, and he's the president of the United States. Can you imagine if Ronald Reagan would have said that? Can you imagine the moral high horse? That moral high horse is gone. Look at the people who are supporting Donald Trump. Look at the people that stormed Michigan's legal buildings. That moral high horse is gone. They will double down in the name of power. It is the ugly monster has been here, and now we're seeing the monster's face. And it is racist. It is homophobic, it is transphobic, Islamophobic, and above all things, it is sexist.
Yeah, and guys, this is, look, we gotta go. I gotta tell you a couple more races, but what Ida's saying is so important. And if you want constructive critique of the Democratic Party and how they ran this election, and within the context of this issue of sexism, because I understand that it's tough to challenge, right? So you say, well, all right, you're losing guys who care about machismo, but you also want to point out that it's toxic masculinity. So how do you square that, right? I think that in the long run, it's a relatively easy thing to do. How do you do it? When Kamala Harris is in a debate with Mike Pence, you let her debate him. It was, when we covered it live for you guys, for those of you who watched, you'll remember. I said, why does she have that fake smile? Oh, the corporate media is aghast. You're not allowed to talk about her smile, etc. No, you're missing my point. We know Kamala Harris can be tough. So why don't you let her hit him? Pence kept hitting and hitting and hitting. She might have won that debate on that night, according to the polling. But they keep winning the battles and losing the war. Why do they keep losing the war? Because they never make their own case. If the country had seen a strong black woman basically rip Pence to shreds, that's what in the long run gets people to go, oh, maybe woman doesn't equal weak. I don't know, for God's sake, at least try. If you have a strong woman on your side, let her be strong. It was super obvious. We told you, now this is not Monday Morning Quarterback. We told you when we were covering the debate. It was super obvious that the consultants told her, don't seem angry. If I was running the Democratic Party, if a consultant ever said, don't seem angry, I'd fire them on the spot. That's why you've lost all these elections, because you seem so weak. You can't even stand up for yourself. How are you gonna stand up for others? And that's the message you constantly put out there. So, yep, they tied everybody's hands, and look at that. Now we're in a dead heat in the late in the night on election night. So here are the obvious calls, though. Joe Biden has won California, Oregon, and Washington, obviously. Trump has obviously won Idaho. Jim Risch has won re-election. He's a Republican from there. Inslee has won re-election as governor in Washington. And Jeff Merkley has won re-election as a Democratic senator in Oregon. He's a good senator. He's actually a rare progressive. But you know what? Anyway, even the Merkleys of the world. He's a good progressive, he's good on policies. You remember when Merkley stood up for you? I'll wait. No, the correct answer is no, you don't remember that. Because no strong Democrat is allowed on TV, is allowed within the Democratic Party. They're all taught civility, compliance, and utter contemptible weakness. That's my take on it. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.